everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are very excited. We are finishing up the fall season as far as Hallmark's concerned. It's still going strong as far as everyone else in the world, but we're finishing up as far as Hallmark and we're getting ready to start Christmas. And so we had to talk about the fall into love movies. It's been a strong season every year for Hallmark, whether it's called Fall Harvest or Fall into Love or whatever. But it's been a pretty good one, and that continues this season. So we're going to talk about all the movies, and I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Caroline's here.
Hey,
How are you doing?
pretty good.
You having a good fall?
Yes, it's not really fall here. Like it's fall, but it's the temperatures are like 70. It's like high
Oh, it's
70s,
been pretty warm.
80s. Yeah. But it's supposed to be in the 60s this week. So,
Did you have too much going on as far as the hurricane season there where you're
Helene,
at?
we lost power for a day during
Mm,
Helene, and we've had some trees fall down, but it wasn't like anything like what North Carolina and
yeah, that's good.
Florida.
That's good.
But it's
Yeah,
always we always get something when it comes because I
yeah.
live right in the middle of the state, so
Mm-hmm.
it we always get something.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a big like football fan, right? So
Yes,
that's got to be a big part of fall for you.
yes, and my Gamecocks have been doing like we're 3-3. I mean that's not like the
Okay.
best record,
Half
but
and
it
half.
yes, and we've had some close games over the last couple weeks. So, but
That's good.
we almost beat Alabama and we almost beat Ole Miss and
Oh,
or not Ole
okay.
Miss, excuse me, LSU. We lost that day, Ole Miss. But I digress.
What's your team?
South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah.
Basketball's about to start, so
Are you
it's a
watch
big
basketball too?
yeah. Women's
Mm.
basketball,
Oh, women's. Okay,
football,
cool.
and
Good.
baseball.
Yeah.
I love.
I used to follow sports when I was like in high
Hmm.
school. I would at least nominally follow sports, but that's just completely gone to the wayside.
No, very
I've
big. Like
lost it. Yeah.
I during Christmas movies, like sometimes my team plays at like 7:30. I'm like, oh my God. But like I look at the schedule and like the movies I want to watch live, my games are
Yeah.
always early in the
The
day.
games are
So
long.
it's
Those
like four
football, I mean, they can
hours.
like, yeah, they can almost 3, 4 hours. I'm just like, that's a long time. I could watch two movies in that time.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Or
my
four if it was Hallmark.
my
Movies.
movies, like at least the movies I want to watch, like my games are earlier in the day, so I won't have to
Yeah.
miss it live.
Well, it's been kind of fun. I started working in a little part-time job at a school, and I think that's helped. It sort of felt more like fall, because when
Hmm.
you're working at a school, it just you get those fall vibes.
Yes.
And so that's been fun, new experience, and I think it's gone pretty well for the first couple weeks. So,
Good.
and it's just what I was hoping for. Like I just wanted something that would be really consistent, but like not overwhelming, and
Hmm.
that would just be a few hours. And so I'm pretty happy with how it's gone so far. But yeah, it's of course busy season starting.
Hmm.
We're recording this on the 15th, and we have the countdown to Christmas starting in just 3 days.
Can't wait.
I mean, I'm really excited, but also overwhelmed.
Like this is the first time like my birthday weekend has Christmas movies. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
usually
Happy
like the
birthday.
last, thank you. It's the last week of fall, usually fall movies, but this year
Uh
it's like
huh.
Christmas. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. It keeps creeping up. I mean,
hmm.
I was saying that I think that we're going to end up having to do our previews in August eventually. It's just
Oh
going to
no,
happen.
yeah. All of October Christmas movies.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. But we had 6 movies as part of this Fall into Love on Hallmark. And would you agree that it was a pretty strong overall lineup?
Yes, I think they always save the best for last, like of the non-Christmas. I like the other seasons; they had good movies, but this one feels like it's getting close to Christmas, and they're going to step up the game.
Well, really from Jane Austen month all the way until August, it was pretty rough. There were a few standouts, a few good ones, but not very many. It was rough. But I liked August a lot. It was fun how in August they were really incorporating some whimsy into the stories.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, with like the Magic of Lemon Drops and the Dreams one, and the June Bug. It was charming.
It
and
felt
unexpected.
Old. Yeah, it felt like I love the whimsy. I like old Hallmark.
Yeah,
so it felt like that again.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking when you say old, like old Hallmark.
Like,
not like 2015. This is like old Hallmark that they would have that kind of whimsy, because they went through like 2015 to like 2017, like when it was like peak Bill Abbott. Those movies were so cookie cutter. Almost every movie was a girl from the city going back to the country.
like the memes we see about Hallmark movies, like people start sharing. Yeah,
like, a lot of those are really about movies from like 2014 to 2017, not about the new movies. So anyway, well, let's dive in. Let's talk about them. And the first one that we have is His and Hers. This was on the 7th. This stars Lacey Chabert, Brendan Elliott, Stephanie Bennett, director Linda Lisa Hayter, writer Susan Black, and Joa Boken. Married lawyers Dana and Mark represent reality stars entangled in a bitter divorce, leading to complications when their client's inability to compromise strains the couple's own relationship. So what did you overall think of this one?
It felt different. Like it was something like we haven't seen before, especially like with Lacey. They obviously have great chemistry, so it would be kind of hard to play the just meeting and like falling in love for them now, especially. And so I like that they were married, and I like the little twist along the way about both of them being lawyers and then working on opposite sides. I thought that was fun, and the ending, that was sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. To me, this felt kind of like a pilot for a show, almost more than a movie, standalone movie. And
it's already fun to see it.
Yeah,
they go different cases. Show. Yeah,
I would. Yeah, different cases, and they've done, of course, a ton of movies together, but it's been a while since I felt this much chemistry from the two of them together. In like, you didn't really feel it as much in the crosswords because they really weren't together that much, like they were kind of separated for a lot of those movies and then would come together. But yeah, and then All of My Heart were a little bit, the sequels weren't the best. And so it's been a while since I really was feeling that Brennan and Lacey chemistry, but I think they brought it here.
Yeah, it was great.
They were a believable husband and wife. And the banter from Susan Black and Joa Boken was really, really good between the two of them.
And I love the little Easter eggs they had throughout the movies about All in My Heart and the crossword and Will Kemp. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was surprising. I wasn't expecting that.
Me either. I was expecting something about All of My Heart and the goats, but I wasn't expecting Will Kemp.
Well, because when Will cameoed in Lacey's Christmas movie a while back. It was kind of distracting because she had better chemistry it's the one where
With
she
him
was
dancing.
her brother. No, it was the one
Oh,
where she was brother, and they inherit the
oh
castle.
yeah, the castle. But weren't
Yeah,
they
yeah.
dancing in the cameo or something like that though? I can't
Oh, okay,
remember.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
dancing. Yeah, I
Hmm.
get it.
Hmm.
What you're saying, but it was kind of distracting because she had better chemistry than with that
Hmm.
guy. They
Yeah,
didn't even need a romantic relationship in that movie because it was
they
all about her
didn't.
and her brother, and
Hmm.
really didn't need it. And anyway, it was kind of like, oh well, I wish you were with this guy instead of with the other
Hmm.
guy. But that wasn't the case here. It was just like a fun moment.
Hmm. That was
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise for me about this movie is like how unlikable and devious they made this celebrity couple.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, you usually do not see characters like that on Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, they were very like they irked me. You know what I mean? Like they were annoying, especially the
Yeah.
guy. The girl I could handle a little bit more, but the husband
Well,
was,
they were lying the whole
yeah.
time, and there was really
Hmm.
no remorse for lying. It's not like they learned some big lesson.
Then
They
they get a
got
show anyway.
Yeah, they get a show anyway, and I mean, I was really surprised. I mean, I love Clayton James and Stephanie Bennett. They both been on the podcast, and they did a good job in their roles. I was just really surprised that Hallmark went there to just
Hmm.
have like
Hmm.
outright selfish characters. Like, the only time you usually see characters like that in a Hallmark movie is usually the bad man of business, but
Mm.
usually they aren't like actually selfish. They're just kind of like obsessed with business.
And they kind of changed their way. Some of them changed their ways along
Yeah,
the
some of them
way.
changed their
Yeah,
ways, or they're just it's not like
you
they're
don't see them as
actually
much.
bad. They're just like
Yeah.
too busy, with,
Hmm. Hmm.
with work. I mean, to have an outright just selfish and completely manipulative couple was pretty surprising to me.
And then the others were in on the thing. The other her uncle and weren't they kind of in on it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a bit since I saw this one, so
Yeah.
I'm having to
Hmm.
remember. But yeah, I was surprised by all of that. And I said in my hot take after I saw it, I said sometimes when Hallmark takes risk, it really backfires. But this is an example of it paying off. It's zippy and funny with Brennan and Lacey shining. It was diff it was definitely different, but felt like a plot for a show I'd watch. I also collect fidget spinners and use them on a daily basis.
That was cute. I like that.
Yeah,
She kept giving. Yeah, that was sweet.
it was a nice element
Hmm.
to have because I think a lot of people, you use. There are a lot of fidgeters out there, and I'm certainly
Hmm.
one of them. And I go to a lot of shows, a lot of musicals, and I have a fidget spinner. Here we go.
That's
Yeah, so
cool.
I can just and because it's hard because these shows are sometimes really long, almost 3 hours or over 3 hours, and it can be
You
really
need
hard.
something, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I like that. That was really sweet and nice. And then I thought the way they handled the whole pregnancy thing was really nice to see because
Hmm.
I think it's okay I mean, I'm not married, so what do I know? But it seems like to me that like you're gonna have times in a relationship where the other person starts to want something new, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you've come to agreements in your relationship, but then something changes and a person maybe for whatever reason wants a new job or a new wants to take this risk or wants to and as a couple you might end up at a place that's a deal breaker. I cannot go
Hmm.
to that new place with you no matter how much I might want to. But hopefully, most things you can sit together and be like, okay, this is new. Let's talk about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And and that's kind of how this was. Like they had talked about it and they had decided that they weren't going to have children. And then he says, well, maybe I'm ready. Maybe I'm ready to have
Yeah.
kids. How do you feel about that? And I don't know. I just really liked how that was all handled. It was so respectful and
Yeah, I like
and
that too.
healthy. It was really
Hmm.
healthy.
And he wasn't pushing her.
No,
Like, so that was, I like that.
he
And
wasn't
the ending was so
pushing,
sweet.
but he also was just making it clear like where he was at in their relationship. It
Mm-hmm.
just seemed like, okay, this is a very healthy marriage.
Mm-hmm. And it's like she
Which,
didn't want children. It's like she didn't think it wasn't it like she didn't think it was like the right time or didn't know how it would affect like their work.
well, yeah, and I think she was nervous about the work affecting the child.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they were both so busy and they both like,
Mm-hmm.
could we bring in a child into this schedule of ours?
Mm-hmm.
And
And
I can
yeah,
understand that.
that's
Yeah.
respectful too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I just thought that was really endearing how they handled it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in my post, like I would watch the show if they were doing a show like a heart to heart, kind of an
Yes.
old lawyer show
Mm-hmm.
about a married couple. Like that would be really fun. I would watch that.
That would be fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one I enjoyed a lot. I really did. I'd probably give it like 4 out of 5
Mm-hmm.
crowns.
I was thinking 4 as well.
Yeah. Okay. Then on the 14th, we had The Heiress and the Handyman. This stars Jodie Sweetin and Corey Sevier, director Marco De Femia, and writer Paula Tiberius. After losing her fortune, an heiress moves to a rural farm where she mistakes her handsome neighbor for the handyman. To live up to her family's legacy, he helps her compete at the county fair. So this one, this was available earlier to watch on Hallmark. Well, it was still Hallmark Movies Now. You could watch it a
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks ago. So I watched this one actually the earliest of any of these, and it got the best ratings of any of these. I have no idea
I can't.
why.
Yeah. I guess it's the Jodie effect. I
I
guess.
guess, yeah. Jodie, who knew? I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
she was such a star. But my little reaction to this one was unusually bad and
Yeah.
bizarre. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is that most of the badness was unnecessary, and I'll go into
Mm-hmm.
explain that in a bit. But like, why have her start in Greece with terrible green screen when she could just be in a generic place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
That
have
was
her
a choice.
wear a horrible wig when her hair is that same color?
Hmm.
And he's also not a handyman at any point in the
Mm-mm.
story. It's bizarre. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing with this movie is that it was really trying to be like Harvest Moon, with Jessie Schramm,
Yes.
which is so good. Uh,
Classic.
yeah, she's so good. She loses all of her money in that. She has to go to the farm, but she actually has like an arc, and you feel for her, and she seems like a real person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just a million times better written that one than this, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. While I was watching the, I kept thinking about Harvest Moon. I'm like,
Right?
they did this one better. It
Yeah.
was hard to watch after seeing,
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And the
So
wig,
much better.
the wig took
Well,
me out.
it's like I say, there's so many things that were unnecessarily bad in this, which I just find baffling. Like they could have easily had the opening segment of this movie, just her in a fancy restaurant or
Mm-hmm.
department store or something like that. And she finds
Mm-hmm.
out the news there. There's no reason for her to be in Greece. There's no reason for it to be this horrible green screen of Greece when she calls the lawyer or whoever that is he's in New York City, but obviously not New York City. It was an obvious green. Why? Why do you have to be in New York City? Like you could just be in generic office. It,
Mm-hmm.
like it was so strange to me. It was like they were actively trying to make the
It
movie worse.
cringy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yeah, it took.
weird.
Yeah, I was like, I noticed that right away. I'm like, this is going to be interesting when the first scene is the green screen, and it was so bad. I'm like, oh
So
no.
bad. And I really do not understand the wig. The wig was so bad. And like I was looking at pictures just to see if like did she have a pixie cut at that time or there was some no. She had
Mm-hmm.
long hair.
And
It's
Hallmark
that
has been
same color. Like I don't
leaning.
why would you put a wig on? There's no reason.
They've been leaning more towards shorter hair, like especially like
Anyway,
with
yeah,
women. Yeah,
absolutely.
and I let them use their natural hair. I mean,
It just doesn't make sense. Why
mm-mm.
like, just all you have to do is just like, if you want it to be a little bit bigger, a little fuller, you can use extensions. That would have been fine. But like, I'm baffled why they decided to give her that horrible wig. And then the story was just so clumsy. I mean, because you'd have to believe that, like, it was so bizarre because they were acting like her aunt had like left all of these things for her to do, and left all of this, and like made sure that he was protecting taking care of things when she's gone. I'm like, how much notice did she have? Was she terminally ill, like, for a long time? Because it doesn't seem like she died of like an accident, but everything else that they were doing was acting like it was an accident and was unexpected. And if she was not only expecting her niece to take care of her farm and the animals and the other things when she's gone, and she had noticed, which it sure seemed like it with everything with the fair, and like she was still sort of planning the fair. Like, how is that possible if she like died? Like, what? And so, you're just like, if she knew and she had an extended terminal illness, why didn't she call up her niece and be like, this is happening and I need your help and whatever. If she had enough notice to notify the Corey's character about that and have him take care of things, then why didn't she call her niece? Like, I don't know. There was just so many things like that made no sense.
Yeah, it was kind of, you had to think like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Because with Harvest Moon, she has this property that they already own. It's not like she inherits it. Her dad just happens to own this farm, and it ends up being the only asset she has left. So her sudden involvement kind of makes sense.
Made sense.
Yeah. And then the whole like distaste from that family also makes sense. And also he's never really fully grieved for his wife who passed away, and all of that, makes sense. I mean, there's bonkers elements of that movie, like the amazing pumpkin hand cream and everything like that. But I'm fine with that. I don't mind those details. But this was so clunky. It just
it was rough.
It was rough. I just and just the romance was really bad. It was, and then her, like, she acted like she has never like the whole thing with her learning to make a pie made like no sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know what an apple is? Like, do you know? And like his tutelage of making a pie was also not very good. I was like, what kind of are you? What kind of pie? You don't use a blender for a pie? Like, it was so weird.
That made me laugh because I love baking. I'm like, dude, that's not even right.
No. I was like, what kind of pie is this that they're making? That's not going to win at the fair. I can tell you that right now. I do have to say the house that this film was shot at was an incredible house. And I feel like I've seen it before. I feel like it was in that California Christmas movie on Netflix. I'm not positive, but I think that just because it had that space, in between for the animals in the house, which is pretty unique. And I'm pretty sure it was in that movie. I mean, they all kind of run together, but I'm pretty sure in those California Christmas movies. But yeah, it's a very cool house.
That is a neat house.
Yeah. And there were a few fun scenes with like them with the animals and things like that, but
it made it memorable for it being like that. You know what I mean? Like it stuck in my head more than some other of the 2024 movies. Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, that's true. but I would say that this one is maybe an all-timer bad. It was really bad. And why so many people watched it, I will never understand.
More people need to get Hallmark Plus.
This is why well, I mean, if you think about that, we like it's even more like this movie won the year. Like, how is that possible? Like, a lot more people watched this movie than watched Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Like, how is that a thing? Like,
that's crazy.
Blows my mind.
I mean,
the most popular Hallmark movies of this year was the
golf movie.
The golf movie, which was so boring. And then the Jocelyn one with the Jocelyn and what was it called? Twist into Love or whatever.
That was this year.
That was this year.
Oh wow. Oh my God. It seems like that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, what was it? So what was it called?
I think it was Twisted, or Twisted.
Yeah, Romance with a Twist.
Romance with a Twist, yeah.
Romance with a Twist, which was fine. I enjoyed that. I mean, certainly of those three, I enjoyed that one the most. But how is Love on the Course and Eris and the Handyman they're in my bottom 4 for the year. How are those the 2 most watched?
I would love to know the stats of the people who record and that don't watch live or watch a couple of days. I would love to know all the stats.
See, this is why I'm not leading a network, because I would never predict that.
I know.
That's for sure. So anyway, I would give this one a 1. I thought it was pretty much unwatchable.
Yeah, 1 as well.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second to thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the good folks at Harpeth Road Press and bestselling author Jenny Hale and her new book, Noel Bridge. They say there's a covered bridge that heals the sick and mends the broken. Actual miracles have happened within its green clapboard protective shell. When Alicia Silver faces spending her first Christmas without her fiancé who has passed away, she knows that the only way she can manage through the season is if she has a little divine intervention. So she heads to snowy Smoky Mountains to visit that bridge, hoping to reach her fiancé somehow. But she isn't expecting to encounter Leo Whitaker when she gets there, a heartwarming holiday getaway that will have you believing in the power of love. If you enjoyed the Christmas movies based on Jenny's books and are searching for more feel-good small-town romance, look no further. That's Noel Bridge, and you can purchase it wherever you purchase your Christmas books or use the affiliate link below. That's Noel Bridge by Jenny Hale. Falling Together. This is on the 21st, and what a bump up from.
Yes.
This is much better. This stars Ashley Williams and Paul Campbell. It's director Mike Rawl, writers Adam Kolbersh and Rick Garman. Natalie tries to bring feuding neighbors together in her new condo building. Her unexpected ally is the building's super, who prefers to avoid getting involved. So what did you think about this one?
I thought it was a sweet movie. I love the chemistry, and I love seeing Ashley in movies, especially when it's something so close to her heart. I like that. Some sad moments, but I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It has some flaws, but I think what I liked the most about this movie is I liked the way. So this movie did something that I've been wanting Hallmark to do for a long time, and I've never really seen them quite do it this way. They brought that small town energy that you see in so many of their movies into a building in the city.
Yeah, I like that.
It was so nice. It was refreshing. It was new. And basically all the dynamics, basically you're building a HOA president or whatever is basically your town mayor. You've got your feuding neighbors. You've got your opposites attract. You've got your, all these different elements within this condo building, but it's in the city. And it's just, I thought that was so nice. And I would encourage them to keep doing that because it was very refreshing to me.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. I love all the different neighbors. That was fun.
Yeah. I think where it didn't work for me as well is that I mean I love Ashley so much, but sometimes she was a little much to
Mm-hmm.
me. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, I would not want to live near her. She was a lot.
She was trying hard, wasn't she?
She was trying hard. That's a good way to put it. It kind of reminded me, my least favorite Ashley movie is Love on the Limb. That one, I just don't
Mm-hmm.
love that movie. And she had kind of Love on the Limb energy sometimes in this, and I was like,
Yeah.
tone it down just a little bit. You're a little
Mm-hmm.
pushy, and nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants to be forced in a relationship, forced to interact with people that you don't want to. That's
Yeah,
not the
that's
way
true.
to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so there were moments where I was just like, okay, she would be driving me crazy if I lived there.
Mm-hmm.
But I
I,
was able to put that to the side and just embrace the movie for what it was. And they were very sweet together, and everything with the Alzheimer's was very
yes.
tender. The
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's walk. That was so
Mm-hmm.
nice. I didn't know that about the different flowers.
Mm-hmm. I
And
like
then
that.
when the lady shows her blue flower
Mm-hmm.
and she
I
has it.
know.
Oh,
And when she forgot, like she didn't recognize herself on the wall.
oh,
Oh, like, oh my God.
yeah,
Because
that was really
my
good.
my grandmother has Alzheimer's and she's starting to like forget like family members and stuff. And so like that really that it made me cry that part of the movie. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it did. It worked. It
Mm-hmm.
really did. And I thought that their relationship was pretty grounded. It
Mm-hmm.
felt pretty realistic. Like I don't know, because she was kind of annoying me at sometimes, that he would really be won over and interested in this crazy person, but I was able to go with it, and it was
Mm-hmm.
sweet. It was sweet. Uh,
Yes.
I wrote for this one, I said, while this definitely has its flaws, I like the attempt to bring the small town dynamics to a city building. I've long thought Hallmark could do that more, and I hope they keep at it. The Alzheimer's walk elements were very sweet. Ashley kind of drove me crazy in this, and they over makeuped her, but I still had fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And, we usually don't comment on an actor's appearance, but since this is a production choice, I do think that it was too much. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what was going on
Mm-hmm.
there, but I would just say, costuming department, if you're listening, there's no reason. She doesn't need it. Like this, she's beautiful. Like obviously she needs some, but she doesn't need that much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tone it down. but yeah, it really was a sweet movie. And I think that if somebody isn't open to Hallmark movies, this might be one that might win them over just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it just has such a big heart to it,
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
you know. So I would also give this one a 4
I
out of
was thinking
5.
four as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're on the same page today.
Yeah, yeah, we are so far. Okay, then on the 28th, we have The Real West. This was on September 28th. It stars Kimberly Sested, Lucas Bryant, director Terry Ingram, writer Laura Olson, who I want to contact her because this was really fun. Rebecca is a widow chasing tenure, and Jake is a handsome cowboy who never settled down. And I think what excited me about this movie is it really had the bones of a romance novel in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you usually don't see Hallmark actually embracing the tropes of romance novels. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it really did with the hunky cowboy and the swoony moments and the everything else. I really enjoyed that, and I wish that they would do that more.
Mm-hmm. They
So
had
what?
some. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The chemistry was on point. Like I was kind of not hesitant, but I was kind of nervous going in, because Lucas sometimes like hit or miss with me sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
they really were great together, and especially that the hat scene. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I'm like that won me over.
that was so good. He
Hmm.
he was very swoony in this movie.
And Kim
It
didn't. I was like, oh.
yeah. Yeah. And I loved the fact that he was smitten the minute he saw her. That was
Mm-hmm.
it. He was
Mm-hmm.
done. And I mean, my big flaw for this movie is I really did not love the conflict. Why? Why did they have to make him dating her friend, her best
Yeah, I didn't
friend?
like
And
that either. The sister. Yeah.
there was no reason. It didn't, oh, was the sister? I forgot that. But there was no reason. It didn't add anything really to the story. And it just, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why she couldn't have just, she's struggling, wanting to get tenure, needing a break from her busy life. She goes to the ranch. She meets the hunky cowboy. They fall for each other. There's no reason for additional conflict. That's enough
Mm-hmm.
right there.
Yeah, the sister thing kind of like it was. I didn't like that part, but like he obviously wasn't super interested with the sister. Like he was interested with Kim, like her
No, like,
character right away.
yeah. The minute he saw her, he was into her, which was so swoony. And he was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'll go on dates with this. She's
Mm-hmm.
available and maybe it might lead to something, was kind of the feeling I got
Mm-hmm.
for him and the sister. And and so I don't know. I just didn't need that whole conflict of like, how dare you betray me and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
guess
didn't.
that part of romance novel I didn't need.
Yeah.
Just be spoony, just be
Mm-hmm.
romantic. But yeah, there were a lot of really good scenes, like their first kiss. That was
Mm-hmm.
really good.
And the scenes with the sons, like saying goodbye to their dad,
Mm,
that
hmm.
made me cry. That was good. And how
Yeah,
he helped the other son, the older son.
yeah. And there is nobody in Hallmark that can pull off the emotional, I'm fighting back the tears ending than Kimberly Seston.
Agreeing.
He's so good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always just like, oh, honey, it's okay.
Yeah. Want to give you a hug right
Yeah.
now.
And when she's like, I just wanted to tell you that I like you and I don't want you to
Yeah.
leave and I wanted you to say it back or whatever. It was something like that. It was so
Mm-hmm.
good. Oh,
Mm-hmm. She
and she's
played
just
that
like
so well.
holding it back, holding back the
Yeah.
tears. And he's like, well, I wanted to tell you too. I don't want you to go. And
That was good.
it was so good. Yeah, it was really, really, really good. I wrote for my thing. It says, I wasn't crazy about the conflict. Why did he have to be the BFF's boyfriend? Why not just have him be an aloof cowboy? That said, it was pretty swoony movie and I enjoyed it. Kimberly sure knows how to do the emotional ending in a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would encourage Hallmark to do more like this. Even if I again it had a few elements I wasn't crazy about, in general, the tone and feel and style of it, more of this, please.
Yes.
Yes. And so I would give this one a 4.5
I
out
was
of
gonna
5.
say 4.5 too. Yeah.
I would definitely rewatch it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
picture this being part of my fall lineup going forward.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies. So
then we have Autumn at Apple Hill. This was on the 5th. Erin Cahill, Wes Brown, director Sean Garati, and writers Paul Diddy and Angie Ellington. I believe Angie Ellington wrote the book that this is based on.
Mm-hmm.
So newly divorced Elise starts renovating the inn she inherited from her grandparents, catching the eye of Luke, the chief financial officer of a major hotel chain. So I'm curious, what was your overall thoughts about this one?
I thought it was a cute movie. There's some things that like weren't my favorite part, but it felt like old Hallmark in a way, like
Yeah.
2015, 2017. And I loved
Yeah.
Aaron Cahill and Wes Brown together. I would like to
Yeah.
see more of them in the Christmas movie they were in. They didn't have as many scenes together as I would have liked.
You did have a
So
lot of movies kind of like that, and yeah, in that time period of
hmm
with like the executive coming down to the cookie factory or the hat store or the
hmm hmm
the cupcake shop or something like
the
that, and
business might close soon, like all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah,
and there could we keep this beloved factory of that makes cookies or
Christmas
Pringles or
cookies. Yeah.
something like that, that you would have. Well, I mean, Wes Brown was in was in
Oh
one like that.
yes,
Yeah, he was in the
the
cookie
Christmas cookie one. Yeah.
Christmas cookie one. Uh, and so you had a lot of those for a while, and so I agree, it did definitely have those old school feels. I was really not feeling this movie for the first half, I would say, because I
Mm-hmm.
just felt like her character was being unreasonable. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just it's not that she was being mean, which fine if people are mean sometimes in life, but like her being meanness didn't make sense. Like I just don't buy that any woman in her situation would treat a guest at her hotel, no matter how she's feeling about that guest. I don't believe that she would treat them that way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like think of the damage that can be done these days by a Yelp review, by and here you have this businessman that may be powerful that she thinks is could possibly take away her business. So like him having this horrible, I mean, I guess if she thinks, okay, if I'm horrible, he's not going to want to buy it, I guess I could see that. But like, I don't know, I just feel like that's a huge gamble to be taking, and
Mm-hmm.
to be presenting your beloved in this way and just treating another human being terribly. And are we
Mm-hmm.
supposed to believe that she has, like, I was a little bit confused, and maybe it's just because I was tired and watching this, but like, she didn't know him, right? They
That's
grew
what.
up in the
Yeah.
town, but she didn't know him.
When I watched it again, I think her grandparents lived there, obviously, but she only visited, is what I gathered from
Because he
the
was like, oh, they
intro.
got rid of our high school, which was kind of hilarious. There was like, oh, like it's the only time in a Hallmark movie that I've ever seen where they're like, we built a park was like a major kick in the mud. Like,
Yeah,
they were like, how
that's
dare
funny.
you turn down,
hmm
take down our high school for this beautiful park.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
that
But
was funny.
but he knew this place, and he
hmm
knew he'd been there. He'd found recuse there with
hmm
and so he loved that inn, but it was weird because he knew the Adam Hertig character,
hmm
and that couple they knew, but they didn't seem to know each other. But it's like, wouldn't they at least kind of know who each other are a little bit? This is a small town.
hmm hmm
But anyway,
I was confused with that too.
a lot of it, I just felt like she was so rude, and it takes a lot to make Erin Cahill unlikable,
That's true.
but she was pretty rude and
hmm
unkind at the beginning of this movie, and so I was not feeling that. And that she would, I mean, it was kind of funny that she would be so upset about playing about this video game arcade
hmm
record. That was
hmm
kind of funny,
hmm
but also unreasonable. Like, she's an adult.
Yeah.
Um, so I was not feeling it for the first half. And then once they start like the party planning and they
hmm
start to get along and it becomes a normal Hallmark movie, then I was like, this is cute. This
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah.
So the second half I enjoyed a lot more than the first half.
I can see that. Yeah.
hmm But I tell you what I loved is both of the secondary relationships in this movie.
Yes, I love that too.
They were
hmm
so good. I
hmm
loved her friend that works at the inn that has the crush on the handyman.
Yes.
And they kind of like are flirting or whatever. He's fixing stuff, and And so then she is trying to be like brave and everything. So she goes over to his house. And again, wouldn't the small town, wouldn't she know if he's married or not? Anyway, so she goes over there and she's bringing him, I can't remember, was it cookies or cake or
I think,
pie? It was a
yeah.
pie. It was a pie. She's bringing him his pie. And she sees this woman with him in the doorway. She's like, here's the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not till later that I think it's Wes who says, like, do you get our vibes that this woman likes you? And he's like, whoa.
Oh yeah. And his sister.
Yeah. And he's like, they're like, I'm feeling that big time here. And so then he explains, oh, it was my sister. It wasn't. He's very much single.
Yeah, it was cute.
It was really cute. And they were so cute together. I loved them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved Adam Hertig and his wife. That couple was really sweet. I really thought they were great.
Yes.
And it's so funny because Adam Hertig, we've been huge fans of literally since Snowman's, and we never had him on the show. I don't know what the problem is. Adam, if you're listening, come on the podcast. We want to talk to you. Because he's great. He always delivers. I can't think of a single time in one of these movies, mystery or where he hasn't been completely charming.
That's true.
Yeah. And of course, last year he was the nerd in Santa Summit.
Oh, that was so good. I love that movie.
So good. It was so good. So he's a favorite. So that elevated this quite a bit for me. Is those two relationships. They were really fun. And I mean, and then once things got going, it was like cute. I like Wes. I like Aaron. They were cute together. Them planning this
Halloween.
I was like, how is this gonna save the inn? But it did.
And I did like that they didn't raise or have enough money or something, but the bank guy he saw like they were trying and let them have. I like that.
The bank guy decided to give them the loan. That's right. Yeah. So I would give this one, I'd give it like a 3.75, 3.5, something like that.
I was going to say 3.5 or 3.7. Yeah.
Same. We're the same. Oh, please. Okay. Our last one is called Haunted Wedding. And this is on the 12th and it stars Janelle Parrish and Dominic Sherwood, director Jeff Beasley, writer Rod Spence and Nina Weinman. And it's the wedding between ghost hunters Jane and Brian at a haunted inn is disrupted by Angelique, a ghost who mistakes Brian for her own dead fiance. So overall, what did you think of this one?
I thought it was so fun, so different. Like as soon as I saw that it was Nina, I'm like sold.
Yeah.
Like, she's so good. And whenever some of the funny little scenes and like that was the Nina scene, like it was so good. It felt fresh. And
yes.
I like that it was different enough from 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ghost from last year. Like I like that.
Well, that one wasn't really that funny.
That's
that
true.
one was pretty serious. This one was a lot funnier.
Was
Dominic Sherwood, he's like a new favorite.
Yeah.
He was great in both roles.
And the side, like both the best friends, like they were great. I can't remember their names.
Really good. Yeah. They were
and the parents were fun too.
Yeah, it was thoroughly charming from beginning to end. I was laughing. I felt like both. I mean, it's refreshing to have it be about a married couple. This is the second that we've gotten in this season, but or already together couple. And they didn't have any like annoying conflict where we're gonna break up. I was
worried about that.
There wasn't really anything like that. It was just the ghosts, which would be conflict enough. And they also, in the planning of the wedding, they didn't have any annoying conflict. It was all just like, I mean, like normal things about. I'm like, who is coming to this wedding? And that's what I wondered. Like,
I was glad that we went straight from the proposal to like the week of the wedding. Like we didn't see any of the, planning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, please don't let them break up. Like,
I'm like, where are people staying? How is this wedding Like it just seemed like a lot of chaos for a wedding.
It
that was
was.
about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this Angelique, she was really good. Cassandra Potenza is her name. She was
Okay.
great, and
She was.
the bond between Janelle Parrish's character's name Jane, between Jane and Angelique, was really sweet and fun,
Yes.
and that was nice. And like I said, Dominic killed it in both of these
Yes.
roles. He was really good. And so yeah, this was fresh. This was something new, and I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yeah, it was really fun. I said this is so much fun. They have quirky chemistry. I enjoyed. They were kind of nerds, both of them, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the story and script is fresh and new. Even just to have a couple from the start is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I would give this one. I would give this one maybe a 4.5, 4.25, something like that.
4.5.
So yeah. And then I just wanted to mention real quick, there's a movie on Netflix that just came out called Girl Haunts Boy. And this is director Emily Ting and writer Dustin Ellis and Cesar Vitale. And I'm going to try to have somebody in production on the podcast talking about this interview. But it stars Peyton List and Michael Cimino. And it's a young boy befriends the spirit of a 1920s girl lingering in his new home, forming an unlikely yet profound bond across decades. And this is a really cute movie. And the boy, he's just struggling to connect at school and with his mom and just everything. And this ghost, and it was charming. I really liked it, and they have nice chemistry together. The supporting characters were fun. His friends. I just think this is a movie the Hallmarkies will really enjoy. Girl Haunts Boy.
I have to check that out.
I think they'll like it, so you should check it out. Let's see here. Oh, I wanted to share on our Twitter. We asked, which is your favorite Fall into Love movie this year? We got tons of answers. So we have Reese JC says, really enjoyed Haunted Wedding. Cute and just fun. What surprised me most is that the ratings for his and hers weren't higher, given how much fans love the 2 stars. I don't know. The ratings are just a mystery. What is going on?
Love to do a study on Hallmark and the rating system.
It's so bizarre. I agree with Reese. I'm surprised too. I am surprised too, because Lacey's movies in general have done so well. So it's very surprising. I don't know what else was up against. That can always make a factor. If there's like a big game season, or if there's a yeah.
I couldn't watch it live. So
so Tawny says, I haven't seen them all, but I loved Autumn on Apple Hill. Kayleen Underwood says, I happen to like all of them this year and was really happy they included Halloween into the mix of the movies, and especially Haunted Wedding. Yeah. Rayleigh Sims says, I need to check out Haunted Wedding. And our good friend Anne says, Hallmark Channel took some different swings with this fall season for me. The Real West Haunted Wedding worked. I haven't seen Falling Together yet. The Real West had the swoon, and Haunted Wedding was fun.
Yes.
Waiting in on the Pumpkin Patch says, Autumn at Apple Hill. Susan Davis, The Real West by a mile, a new Hallmark favorite. Just a Bookaholic Girl, The Real West is my favorite. Matt says, hands down, Falling Together was my favorite. The Real West takes the second spot, then Haunted Wedding. Great Fall into Love lineup this year. A lot of Real West lovers. Phyllis Frund says, Falling Together. I love that one. Stephanie Brand says, Haunted Wedding. Teresa, Haunted Wedding. Princess Suzanne, The Real West. So we got a little bit of everything. Except for Eris.
Real West. I was going to ask if anyone said Eris. Okay, no one said that. No. I'll say we need to have a talk. All these other great movies.
I mean, to each their own, but yeah, it wouldn't be my choice. But let us know what you think of all the things we talked about and all of the movies we talked about. Let us know in the comment section or on Twitter. And one thing I wanted to mention is that we've been having some problems with the Spotify, that it lists like 4 different versions of Hallmark's podcast, and some of them have all the episodes and some of them don't. We're trying to get it all figured out. If you see that, if it happens, try another server, try iTunes, it's always, all of our episodes are always available on YouTube. One of the other providers is not having that problem. So anyway, just a service thing. We're changing our servers this last week, and it'll only be for the benefit of the podcast and longevity. But there's a little growing pains whenever you do something like that. So anyway, let us know if you have any problems in that way. And but Caroline, how can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter or X, whatever, at Meet a Caroline R.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews, especially as we're getting into this holiday season. The more reviews we have on iTunes, the more people are able to find us. And it really, really, really helps us out. So please, please, please take a second, put in those 5-star ratings and those reviews. We really appreciate it. And then we have, and if you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Most of our YouTube viewers are not subscribers. So if you're in that camp, please subscribe. Again, it helps the algorithm so much. So it's like a little thing that you can do that really, really, really helps out the pod. So if you enjoy it, we really appreciate it. And then we have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support us. And we have some awesome watch alongs and other perks planned. We got Carly Smale coming this month to do a watch along for Snowden Christmas, which is one of our favorites. And any tier level can join and be part of the Patreon event. So please take a look at that. And I really, really, really try to make it worth the investment. And then we have our merch store, where we have new designs on the merch store just this week. We have some Christmas movie themed designs. So you definitely want to check that out. There's all kinds. If you're a Hardy, if you're a Hallmarky, if you are anything involving Hallmark, you will love the merch store. Please take a look. And thanks so much, everybody. Happy fall. Bye.
Yay.